Hi Year 6 and welcome to another week of English. Before I start, I just want to say I hope you've all had a lovely weekend and I wanted to thank you for all of the effort, support and hard work you've been putting in over the last few weeks. We have seen some brilliant quality work sent in to us, particularly some of the poems we had in the unit before last and the discursive text we were sent last week. They were brilliant and we could not be prouder of you, so well done. Now, this week is a little bit different. The video is not going to be modelling a specific type of text for you. It's going to be outlining the plan for the week as we are covering a number of different genres. So, the big picture is a cross-curricular unit for a week of English and theme, and it's all about World War II. Now, some of this you will have done before and some of it you'll be less confident with, but what we need to focus on is applying our knowledge to different genres of text. So, by the end of the unit, you will have written a report, a fact file and a diary entry based on research you will carry out on the Second World War. What we will be doing this week: you will read up on general facts about World War II. You will have PowerPoints to do this. There will be links in the PowerPoints. And also there's lots of work you've done over the past month or so that will really be able to inform this learning. So please draw upon what you've already learnt. Number 2, you will need to research why it is called a world war, fill in a map and write a report. The purpose of doing a map is to really consolidate your learning. It's drawing links with geography and it's really to deepen your understanding and concept of the countries involved in the war and what it really was all about. Point number 3, you will research who the world leaders were and write a fact file about them. Point number 4, you will research what the Blitz was and write a diary entry. Now for number 3, we've done information text and I'm going to put up the grid for those to help you because you can draw on many of the key features from them to help write your fact file. But lots of you will be very familiar with fact files. In today's folder, I have added a couple of examples of fact files about historical figures as inspiration for you so you can draw from these. In terms of the diary entry, we've recently done a recount. You were absolutely incredible when creating these, using figurative language, emotive language, cohesive devices, all of those things now you will be adding into your diary entry as if you were involved in the Blitz. Your work on evacuation will really help you with writing this. Now, just a note for you all. Yes, we have done lots of different activities for this week. There are 3 different genres of writing with a fact file, a report and a diary entry, and you only have a week to do it. However, we've put it in there for the people who feel they're able to work through all of those, but you can work through at your own pace. You might want to take 2 or 3 days on one genre, which means you won't get all 3 done. That is absolutely fine because, as we say to you all the time at school, it is quality, not quantity. We'd rather have a really good piece of work completed than 3 pieces that are more rushed. Remember, some of you may now have finished the op art, so you could always do some of this in the afternoon as well, should you want to get all 3 genres completed. Remember, though, to challenge yourself. Think about what you're capable of achieving at school and just aim high. It doesn't matter if you don't get everything completed, as long as you know you've tried your absolute best, which we know you have been doing and we're incredibly proud of you for. Now, there's just one note of caution when you're researching. We have given you some PowerPoints and some links that will be incredibly useful to inform this work. If you are going to use Google, which many of you will, that is fine, but we'd advise that you add in for Key Stage 2 or for children or kids, because some of the information that comes up otherwise may not be relevant or appropriate for you. So just keep an eye on that when you're using search engines. Right, so I'm going to talk now about today's lesson, Monday the 18th. So we're going to look at why it was called a world war, why and how did so many countries get involved. These kind of things we haven't actually looked at too much yet. We've had discussions around them at school, but our unit was cut short due to everything going on. So this is really interesting to get our teeth into. We want to think about the Axis and Allies. We want to think about all the different people who are involved and who they supported. And what you're going to be doing today is making notes about it. So use these 2 links here. Use the PowerPoint saved in the folder and make as many notes as you can to help you with your learning later on in the week. So on Tuesday, you will have all your notes ready to go. You will have spent some time researching the day before, so your brain will be full of amazing ideas, and you're going to use that to help you today. So you will notice that the title is the same. Why was it called a world war? Why and how did so many countries get involved? In this section, you're going to learn about countries involved and how they became involved, which you did a little bit of yesterday. You're going to use an atlas to colour in the allies and axes on a blank map. That's going to give you an idea of the scale of the war and how widespread it was. If you remember, I said to you looking at the first slide, we're going to have a geographical link here to really help us understand the scale of everything. So you're going to be doing that, and then you will answer the question above. Why was it called a world war? Here are some clips that will help you with those. And this link particularly, primary homework help, is excellent. There's lots of stuff on there. So you're going to start off by doing, by doing your map. All of your information will have led up to this point, so this is your kind of starting activity. And then you're going to move on to writing a report about why it was called World War II. So on here it said this is the question you're going to answer. The day before you will have researched that. So today you're going to write about it. Now, although it looks like lots of paragraphs here, actually the clearer you keep it, the more succinct it is, the better. So try not to write loads and loads of pages on this. We want a nice, clear, carefully thought out response. We've directed you here to the paragraphs to tell you what you could include in them that may be helpful, and we've added in some cause and effect vocabulary to help you. So number one is your introduction, background of the war, when it took place and what the report is about. Some of your work from your discursive first paragraph introduction will help with this. Paragraph 2, how did it start? Paragraph 3, discuss allies and how they became involved, and then conclude. Answer the question using all of the information you've used. If you feel like having a challenge, you could explain which countries were colonies and which were invaded. That would be that really advanced added extra detail if you feel like having a challenge. So this may take you more than one day. You may decide actually that you want to start your atlas on Monday. So you may do half an hour or 45 minutes of research and then start your atlas and then spend the whole of Tuesday's lesson doing your report. However you do it is totally up to you. You may even carry it over till Wednesday. This is just a guide for you to follow. So this one I found really interesting. Who were the leaders during World War II? So you will see here, there are some pictures of some leaders. There is also a PowerPoint which outlines the leaders from World War II. One of them is from yesterday, and that will help you, the PowerPoint you used yesterday. And there is a new one as well, solely about the leaders for today. And again, primary homework help, there's a link here which will outline some of the leaders. So although we only want you to write a fact file on one of them, it's really important that you look up more than one, so at least 3, if not all of them, to kind of get a better picture of who they are, what their values were, what their politics were, and what role they played in the war. So your task is then to choose one of the leaders and write a fact file about them. Who were they? Where were they from? What was their role? What were the relevant or significant dates in their time of leadership? Why were they involved in the war? Make sure you use full sentences into paragraph. This is not for bullet points. You may use your bullet points from Monday. You may use your bullet points from last week's research you did on World War II or any research prior to that, but this is to be written out in full as a fact file. Have a look in the folder because there are some examples in there that you can see. Yours should look similar to those. Now, it would be absolutely lovely if you could use some images, some statistics, some flags. We really want to see your creativity come out in this. And we would love to share these pictures on our Class Dojo and on Twitter. So please make sure you spend some time creating a really bold and eye-catching fact file. Thursday, the Blitz. So this lesson actually goes over 2 days. This one's the planning session, which will help inform tomorrow's lesson. So you've got a PowerPoint all about the Blitz, which is very informative. You've got a clip here about it, which will help you. And you're going to do research and planning today on what the Blitz was and how you coped with it. There's an example here of a description of an air raid, which has got amazing use of language. Remember, your diary's in the past tense, so you could use some of this, convert it from present to past tense, and then use it for your writing as descriptive language. Okay. We've just got a little example here of how you use magpied phrases. That doesn't mean you just take it and use it in full. It means you take select parts and use them in your writing to make it even better. But we must see it in your own words, because then we know how well you understand. So I'm just going to reiterate there, this lesson on Thursday is planning. We're going to provide a boxing up type sheet for you, which you can use, or you can set your work out as you'd like. But this is all about getting as much information as you can in emotive language, figurative language, subject specific language, all of those things that will help you, as well as significant dates and events from World War II and the Blitz. So these are some points to consider for your diary entry. Your boxing up sheet that we have made will look very similar to this. Who were you? Where were you when the siren went off? Where did you go to shelter? Who were you with? What did you feel? Some questions here you can use. Remember to use show, not tell. That's the really powerful description we would like to see. So that's your planning day. And then on Friday, you're going to be writing it up. So you must use this success criteria. It must be in first person, historical or subject specific vocabulary, show not tell, adverbial phrases, figurative and descriptive language, and varied sentence types. Remember to use those sentences for effect. Not all of them have to be complex, but you do want to have an element of changing structures between your sentences. So just concentrate on that. Diaries are written at the end of the day and look back upon events, so it's in the past tense. Just remember to check through those past tense verbs to make sure they're consistent. So, as I said, this is just a weekly overview. You may decide to do one genre and do that over a couple of days. You might even choose to do one or two over the whole week rather than three. However you do it is absolutely fine. Just make sure that you use your prior knowledge about World War II, that you use your prior knowledge about information texts and recounts, because that will help with the diary entry, and that you're using this as a prompt of what to include. The information is there for you in the links and in the PowerPoints, so that should direct you to what kinds of things you need to include. If you have any questions, make sure you just pop over onto Class Dojo, send them our way, and we will try to help you as much as possible. We'll still put an overview on the website each day to outline what we're expecting of you, and then you can work through as you like. Good luck. We're sure you'll do amazing work, and well done for everything so far. Have a wonderful day, Year 6. Lots of love from the Year 6 team.